Hey, good evening. It's Monday, February 27th. And welcome to my channel, Everyday Talk 24/7. As you can see, we've got a live audience with us tonight in the background. Always love having the cows along. We're starting a new week. Again, I thank you for your interest in last week's series on the past and looking forward to having more interaction with you about that. But tonight, I want to begin with this topic: what it means to be human. I know that sounds like kind of a large one, but it's really important. This is something that I wrote 8 years ago, right after I was diagnosed with cancer. And I was having some time to think, and this is one of the things that I wrote during that time. And as I look back over it, it's actually chilling to me to read some of the things that I wrote then to see what has come to pass in this time. 8 years ago, what it means to be human, starting with Genesis. So God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them, male and female. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. This truth is the foundation for understanding what it means to be human. This can be seen in at least 3 ways. First, man is a created being. Humans did not emerge or evolve. Humans were created. At one moment, we did not exist, and then we did. Second, God created man for God's own purpose, plan, and pleasure. And again, these are so foundational, and they've been kind of ripped from us by our current cultural understanding. And then thirdly, man was created in the image of God, male and female, as morally responsible creatures under the rule of God. Man was created in the image of God, male and female, as morally responsible creatures under the rule of God. Any attempt to understand what it means to be human without acknowledging these 3 foundational truths will lead to chaos and horrific human suffering. Remember, this is 2015. The secular vanguards of our culture reject all 3 of these foundational truths. And here's the way they do it. First, the first one they reject. They replace that with the thinking in modern culture is that man was not created. Man evolved with an internal awareness so that if he wanted to, he could act as his own God. The second thing that they replace truth with: man is self-authenticating. He has no need of God. Man is self-authenticating. Therefore, humans, we are able to determine and define gender, purpose, and morality as matters of our own choosing, without regard to God, and even without regard to other people, but only our own choosing. And then thirdly, man is answerable not to God. Man is answerable only to himself and not to any supernatural being. Those are the 3 ways that we have rejected these basic truths of Scripture. In the 21st century in the United States, our government, our educational institutions, our view of social structures are all bound to these postmodern, existential, humanistic presuppositions. These views are being drilled into our children. Remember, 2015. I cannot begin to fathom the living hell that these beliefs will inflict on our culture, our country, our children, and our church. Only a return to the belief that God is the creator of heaven, earth, and humans, only return to this will return back the relentless tsunami waves that are crashing on to our shores, both physically and spiritually. This return will only happen if the church has the courage to champion the gospel of Jesus Christ as her lifeblood. The time is short. How will you respond? What will you tell your children? That's what I wrote February 27th, 2015. It is sad but our children are being subjected to a living hell. Quoting from a UCLA Journal paper, we read this. This is just a year ago. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people 15 to 24 in the United States. Nearly 20% of high school students report serious thoughts of suicide, and 9% have made an attempt to take their lives, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Being instructed and encouraged that you can determine your own gender is devastating to our children and to our culture. We must allow the Bible to define humanity and how we can live productive, safe, mentally healthy lives. The Bible must be our standard. When God is removed as the creator of the universe, as the one who gives humans purpose, plan, and living for his pleasure, when we rip that out, the result is the moral chaos that we see swallowing our culture whole today. I believe these are foundational things. I said I wrote it 8 years ago. And if we are to determine what it means to be human, this is the place we must start. I'm starting a new playlist on this area, and I'm going to call it Foundations. And the one I'm going to do tomorrow, we're going to examine the rejection of the Bible as our standard, which further creates this crisis and climate of human tragedy, which we see happening all around us, and why the attempts are just struggling to make things better, why they're getting more destructive. We need the foundational truth that God is our creator, and we need the foundational standard of the scripture in order to how to make sense out of life. And that's the thought for the day. We have a new outro at the end of the podcast tonight. So my good friend Natalia has worked on that, so really thankful for her work. And so just a few seconds, so you'll catch it right at the end. If you haven't subscribed, turn on post notifications, these videos will come right to you. Check us out, everydaytalk247.com. Thank you so much for watching. It is such a huge encouragement.